Tough loss for the Utah Jazz. Crying. I'm crying. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoopster Show. All right, guys. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Oh my gosh, was I sweating that one. And I gotta say, guys, after some careful consideration, and I thought a lot about my stance about whether the Jazz should lose to get a superstar player like Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsa. By the way, AJ DeBonsa, if you haven't gone to his Players Tribune article, he tweeted it out. Go to Players Tribune and read about why he chose BYU, who he is as a person. Great stuff. Or Cam Boozer. I've really thought about my stance, and I almost felt like saying I was going to apologize, but I want to say that I actually do apologize to you for absolutely nothing. For nothing. I am even more convicted now, convinced now than ever before that this is the right path, and I will never settle for anything less than championship trajectory. There is just nothing that will change my mind. I apologize for nothing. Nothing at all. All right, let's get into this. So, the Utah Jazz, they played an Atlanta Hawks team that was without negative influence Trae Young. No, just kidding. They were out without Trae Young in this one. And I tell you what, I was super interested in this because I am not a Trae Young fan. And anytime I have watched the Hawks play with Trae Young, it is just not an enjoyable experience for me. It's just not. I don't enjoy watching Trae Young. When Trae Young is on the floor, you are at an immediate disadvantage on the defensive end. It's just, he is so bad. And when you have Trae Young on the floor, you immediately have free reign driving to the basket. And so for a team, if they don't have rim protection, like if the Hawks didn't have rim protection and they have Trae Young on the floor, then they just have players getting to the basket at will. And there's just no way you have a good defense, right? And if you have Trae Young in the playoffs, and he has, in Trae Young's defense, he's played well and he's had some series, and I think they even got to the Eastern Conference Finals with Trae Young. But they didn't win, and when you're in the playoffs and it's advantage basketball and everyone's trying to find the weak point, it's just unavoidable that the best teams in the league will find it. Like, you go up against like the Luka Doncic's, the Nikola Jokic's, the LeBron James, or whoever, the Tatums, the whatever, they're going to find that weakness and they are going to break it down. And that's why you have to build these teams with length and athleticism and size and shooting, and that's basically what this Atlanta Hawks team has done. Reza Shea, they got the #1 pick in an off year, and he's turning into a nice player. I don't think anyone expected him to be a superstar, but he plays 20 minutes and plays pretty decently. Jalen Johnson is turning into a legit star for them. I think he's probably one of the most underrated players in the league. With his size and combination of athleticism, he almost had a quadruple double tonight. 18 rebounds, 14 assists, 7 steals, 31 points. That is superstar stuff. And, it says a little bit about the Jazz defense for one thing, but he's just awesome. And not having Trae Young has just unlocked him even more. I'm a little lightheaded. Oh, crap. I forgot my cider in the microwave. Guys, I've been heating up hot cider, and it's the best. I get the sugar-free kind, by the way. If you want to know an absolute cheat code, go get those sugar-free hot ciders. First off, they're great. Great for the diet if you're trying to eat well. They're like awesome at night if you just need something. And guess what? They're chock full of vitamin C, so they help you not get sick. Or if you are sick, you should get these because of the vitamin C. You can thank me later, but I'm telling you, go get hot cider. We have a big bag of cinnamon sticks, and I make the hot cider in the microwave, heat up the water, ba-boom, put in the packet, stir it up, drop in a cinnamon stick. You're welcome from the Hoops Nerd. Anyways, I enjoy watching this Hawks team minus Trae Young so much more. It's so much more interesting, and you have size at every position. There is no defensive I mean, the Jazz scored a ton tonight, so they've got some defensive things to clean up. Although this Atlanta Hawks team was on the back end of a back-to-back, having traveled from Sacramento to Utah, playing at Utah altitude, and still played like this. If you're a Hawks fan, you've got to be pretty excited about this win, because this was not a gimme. This Utah Jazz team has played well this season, and for them to play like they did, and they didn't look particularly exhausted to me. They did blow out the Kings in their game before, but on a back end of a back-to-back on the road to beat this Jazz team like this when the Jazz were playing pretty well, impressive win for the Hawks. Dyson Daniels didn't shoot the ball hardly at all. I was kind of wondering where he was at. Where's the defense? Because he got a big contract, and I don't know. There's sometimes, this is one thing too, and this is just something to watch. And I'm sure, I haven't watched enough Hawks games to really have an opinion on this, but it does remind me of some things. Like Hassan Whiteside is kind of one of these guys that can rack up just a ton of blocks. Do you remember when he was getting triple doubles in Miami with all the blocks, but their defensive rating was terrible? I sometimes think that there's a difference between a guy that's good at steals or maybe good at blocks, but are they necessarily a good defender, or are they just good at getting steals and blocks, right? Because sometimes there's a difference. If you're not like stopping your man from getting into the basket, if you're not, if you're a rim protector and you only stop the first shot, but the second shot always goes in because you don't have a good second step and you don't position yourself well and things like that, are you actually a good defender? That's why I've always had a little bit of a question with Walker Kessler, because he's a great shot blocker and he does have good rim protection numbers, but I don't always know if it's like continuation to the end of the play. And I don't know if that's his fault. I could be wrong. Maybe they just need better rebounding around Walker Kessler. But the Jazz defensive rating the last 3-4 years has been just terrible, and tonight was no different. In fact, let's go look at this right now. Refresh. So, worst net rating in the league is the Washington Wizards. Utah's now down to 22, but makes sense because they're about 8 or 9 in these tankathon standings. Brooklyn is also there, so not surprising either. Defensive rating, number 1 Oklahoma City. Utah now at 24 defensive rating, so it's continuing to drop. Offensive rating, the thing that the Jazz were kind of hanging their hat on, 23rd. So Utah's playing pretty good offense, at least better than last year. The offense is getting better, and that's from having just better shooting on the floor. The ball's moving, but it's interesting that this is only they're the 23rd offense. So we look at all this scoring the Jazz are doing, and it might be a little fool's gold. And one thing to think of now, NBA.com. Let's go to actually Utah Jazz schedule. There we go. And this next stretch for Utah starts to get pretty tough. And for guys like me that have been worried out of their minds because I want a superstar on this Jazz team to pair with Ace Bailey, to pair with Keontae George. By the way, I don't think we saw Walter Clayton tonight. I just thought about that. Isaiah Collier's been playing pretty darn well off the bench, gotta say. I was like, after a disastrous summer league and a pretty terrible opening game when he started, he's really locked in on that second unit. We'll see how it goes when they go up against better teams. But so Utah now will play the Lakers on Tuesday. Let's see, is this the current season? I believe so. Oh, yeah, no, they play the Bulls on Sunday, so we have 3 days in between. I got to get some videos done. I probably won't get a video done tomorrow. My son is turning 13 tomorrow. Happy birthday to Gray. But anyways, Bulls Sunday, Lakers Tuesday, Thunder, Lakers, Warriors. They do play the Kings. I kind of hope that Lauri is out with a cold. By the way, Tony Jones was saying that the Jazz have plans to be good next year, and I think that is the right choice. I agree with the Jazz on that. Do the Jazz know what's going on this season? Do they know what's going on right now? Do they understand the implications? This is not that every single win is devastating. It is so hard to come by losses, or how do I describe that? These wins are extremely difficult to overcome if you are trying to secure the top 8 spot. Utah is at 4-8 and they're sitting at 9. There's these teams that are filled with incompetence and idiocy, like the Dallas Mavericks and Nico Harrison, and the Sacramento Kings are run by absolute morons and idiots. The New Orleans Pelicans have a coach that is stupid and doesn't know what he's doing. He is an idiot and doesn't play. I mean, it's just crazy. You have 3 teams like right here run in absolute, just unbelievable incompetence. And there comes a point in the season where these teams will just let their incompetence go. And eventually their incompetence will actually help the Jazz because they're still going to play to win. By the way, New Orleans is going to pass the Jazz eventually. They have no reason to win. That's why this Hawks team, you got to be excited. Look at this. They get this Hawks pick. They're just pathetic. Pathetic. Sacramento, pathetic forever. Forever. This is them trying to win. And they're 3-9. Just pitiful. Just suckitude beyond imagination. Dallas sucks. The Clippers suck. I mean, the Clippers are worse than the Jazz, and they have Kawhi Leonard, who is injured now. James Harden didn't see a donut he couldn't put his mouth on, and Memphis is struggling. It's just with Ja Morant and that Ja Morant drama. This is like 5 teams the Jazz should jump, but if they don't figure it out, these teams will. And trade deadline is... You don't have to wait to the trade deadline, Jazz. If you want to trade Svi Mikhailuk for a pretzel, you can do it. You can do it. A warm pretzel with cheese sauce. They'll take it. And you can have Svi Mikhailuk. Just do it. Do it. Come on. Can we wake up? Wake up. All right. Should we talk about the actual Utah Jazz? I was sweating it on this one, guys. Holy smokes. By the way, speaking of Svi Mikhailuk, what is the obsession? By the way, I'm working on a new 8-bit video. I got to get that done. It's going to be fun. Speaking of Svi Mikhailuk. But Svi Mikhailuk, I don't get it. I don't get it. There is no reason for him to be on this team right now. And I tell you what, the fact that Utah is thinking about next year and not worried about this year very much, apparently, and that Svi Mikhailuk is playing drives me crazy. Like, this Jazz team, I don't care that they said they're not going to manipulate lineups. That's stupid. If you're not going to manipulate lineups, can you at least manipulate the roster to set yourself up to succeed? Come on. Why is Svi Mikhailuk playing? I don't know. The Jazz kind of lucked out. This front office, who I have a feeling is not... it makes me worried, guys. This ownership, this owner... and the guy he hired, I don't think they get it. I really don't. I don't think they do. And it's even worse to have AJ freaking DeBonsa in your own backyard, just looking like the next more efficient Tracy McGrady. And you don't want that on this Jazz team? Could you imagine a pairing of AJ DeBonsa, who is looking like an actual point guard at 6'9", just incredible, next to Ace Bailey? You have, like, that's it. It doesn't matter who else is on the team. It really doesn't. You just fill in the gaps with cap space and make smart decisions. None of the other players matter. I'm gonna be balder than I already am. Probably what caused it. Go from freaking Greg Miller and now Ryan Smith. At least he likes to have high fives with the team after the game. I do not care if our owner is having fun. I don't care. I really don't. I don't. It does not matter to me. He will have lots of fun when Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsa or Cam Boozer are in the running for MVP. You know what's fun? That's fun. And if you are not old enough to know what that feels like, let me tell you, it's better than this. It's better than this. I'll just tell you that. You guys don't even know, some of you. You don't even know. You don't know what it's like to have an MVP. It is the best. It's the best. And I want that. Anyways, Lauri Markkanen is just, the slump is over. I was just so worried. Like 3 games ago, he was at 33% from 3. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are we doing this again? He has completely turned it around. You have to give credit to Lauri Markkanen. He's playing awesome on the offensive end. This is truly what it would be like is if when prime Klay Thompson on the Warriors, pre-injury, when he was just like the most electric shooter next to like Steph Curry, the greatest shooter, I guess, whatever you want to call it. This is kind of like what would happen if you took that player and just built everything around his skill set to help him succeed. That's really what this kind of looks like to me. Obviously, Markkanen's 7 feet, and Klay Thompson was playing off of Curry and all that, but it's kind of like that, where you have a player that's just an elite off-ball shooter and having an offense kind of geared around what they do. This is just great play by him. I mean, this Hawks team has great defenders. And like we said, they were probably a little bit on the tired end, and so that's why their defense probably wasn't quite as good. But still super impressive. 15 for 25 from the field, 6 for 12 from 3, 4 for 4 from free throw. Just really, arguably, one of the best nights he's had in a Jazz uniform. 2 assists, a steal, 7 rebounds. Just great. Great stuff from Lauri Markkanen. Cannot argue it. And really, I know there's like 2 fields of thought, and I hear from both of you, and all of you. I hear you. If you're pro winning and pro build around Markkanen, then you're happy with this because he's showing what he can do. This is like, he is in his prime right now. This is prime Lauri Markkanen. If you're pro trade Markkanen, like me, I'll just be honest. I am very pro that because I would like to get Darren Peterson because I think this version of Markkanen, as amazing as it is, if he's your best player, you're not going very far. You are in this league, you are only as good as your best player. And it's just proven out every time with the Jazz. When the Jazz had Karl Malone, he was an MVP, and he took them all the way to the finals. And he had John Stockton next to him, who was an all-NBA guy, first team, second team, like every year, whatever, just all-star every year. Just one of the best 10 to 15 guys in the league every year. And that's why both of them were on the Dream Team. It was incredible. If you got to watch that growing up, it was just incredible. Markkanen's not that level, but he's really, really good. Like, Markkanen to me is kind of like the Jeff Hornacek. He's just the perfect piece to fit next to a tandem. And maybe he's the second guy. He might be. Maybe he is. But you cannot build if the guy's that a second or third option type guy winning you games when you need to get that superstar guy first, it's just backwards. And the thing that sucks is the Utah Jazz, Ryan Smith and Justin Zanuck screwed this up when they did that Derek Favors trade that gave that pick to Oklahoma City. We're still paying for it, and it's like 6 years later. Honestly, Utah and this front office is lucky that they live in this market because the only person that ever criticizes is this guy right here in SLC Dunk. And no one else pays attention too much. But I can tell you right now, if the Jazz were like the Lakers and they got that kind of coverage and spotlight and focus, they'd be getting just destroyed for that pick every year. Every year. Just destroyed every game. It would be talked about. Why did the Jazz do this? What were you thinking for like a stupid little I can't even remember what the Jazz did with that, but it wasn't even that effective. And it didn't result in a championship. It didn't result in anything. And we're still paying for it. It's crazy. And the fact that they signed Derek Favors for the amount they did the year before. You pay for these decisions years down the road. And if the Jazz don't fix this now, they will pay for this decision for years down the road, guys. Look at this Sacramento Kings, where they are always going for the immediate gratification. They just want the immediate gratification. They don't have discipline. They don't have the strength to say, we can't do this right now because it's not the right thing. Instead, they make these moves and they go out and trade for Zach LaVine. And they go out and get DeMar DeRozan. And look what it's got them. 3-9. It's bad. It's not good. And you can't do that. So Utah has to figure this out now. They've got to get their act together. Now, like I said, it might be okay because now they're going to go on a string of losses, although I have to say they're probably going to win one of these, and they're always going to be playing a team that's on the back end of a back-to-back, or one of these Laker games, Luka Doncic is going to be out for fat, and then Jazz might win one. Utah has to figure that out. They're better now with Lauri Markkanen than these other bad teams. And when they are playing the bad teams, they will win these 50-50 battles like they've done, like the Celtics win, like the Phoenix win. So it takes discipline and not immediate gratification. It's just a lesson in life. If you're always just going after immediate gratification and you don't learn discipline, where are you going to get? Not very far. All right. Anyways, that's my rant. But that said, Markkanen was great tonight. And before the season, Zach Lowe has talked about the Detroit Pistons. They are obviously extremely interested and would make a trade tomorrow if the Jazz wanted Jaden Ivey and Ron Holland and Tobias Harris. And I guess maybe the amount of picks might be holding that up. My guess is the Jazz want Asar Thompson. And the thing is if Lauri Markkanen keeps playing like this, they might give him up. I tell you what, if they give Asar Thompson and 2 picks and Tobias Harris, and you can get you can turn Lauri Markkanen into a young prospect like that, I just think you have to do that. Because you can have Thompson play next to Key, and it's just allows Key to play point guard again. And then this team just can develop. And they will not win as many games because the shooting will go down. The best thing about this team right now is their offense. The defense is terrible. Asar Thompson will help with that defense a little bit because he's really good. But I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. Jusuf Nurkic had a near triple-double as well. 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 10 points. He was 2 assists away from a triple-double. He's almost at a 5x5, and he had a 5x5 with turnovers, if you count them. But Nurkic is just, I don't know. It's interesting how he's turned himself into, and you got to give credit to Will Hardy on this, he's turned himself into just an impactful player. He's not washed. He can still do some things out there. Now, his layups are an absolute adventure. When he takes a layup near the basket, who knows what's happening with that ball. But it went in more tonight than it did other nights. He's not a good free throw shooter. His free throw shooting is putrid. But every single missed Nurkic free throw, a lottery ball gets its wings this Christmas season. And so I'm okay with that. You know what else with this Jazz team is they have been pretty healthy. I know Taylor Hendricks is sitting right now with hamstring stuff, and we'll see what happens with that. There's a little bit of suspiciousness with that with me. A little bit. I mean, if you're trying to make a trade, I don't know. But anyways, Jusuf Nurkic, points across the board. He's just a very smart veteran player. He's enormous, and he rebounds pretty darn well. I don't know. He's not a very quick player. He's not going to win you a lot of games, but I mean, he's been a pretty good placeholder since Walker Kessler went down, and he kind of plays in a style I think the Jazz really want to play, where the ball kind of starts up top and you have a center that can shoot threes, and he can do that. Not super effective, but he can. And then pass the ball to cutters and things like that. All right, guys. It's time to talk about our guy, our beloved beloved Ace Bailey. Oh my gosh. I am so happy. I'm so excited. You know, in some ways, what we're seeing from Lauri Markkanen is kind of the perfect mentor for Ace Bailey right now. And learning from what Markkanen does, because right now Ace Bailey's skill set is extremely similar to Lauri Markkanen, like really similar, because Markkanen's not a playmaker. He can't handle it he's gotten better over the years and he's developed a handle that's good enough that he's fine, but he's not a playmaker. We're already seeing some playmaking from Ace Bailey that's pretty exciting stuff. I don't know if he's going to be, I'm pretty sure he's never going to be like James Harden or something like that. But he does make the right pass. He makes smart passes multiple times. I mean, we really have to talk about how more polished his game is than I think we realized. Tonight we saw just how pure that catch and shoot jump shot is. Holy smokes. Look at these jump shots. And I think one of the things, and this is just rookies in general, when he gets his fitness to another level, it's going to be really fun to watch, because I think some of the times that he starts missing shots is just getting tired legs. You'll notice at the beginning of the game, look at how pure this jump shot is. It's just so quick. That just looks so easy. Just so easy. These are all catch and shoots. Look at this. Bam. Quick. And it looks so pure. I mean, this is different than when he was in college. He's already better. It's really fast, really smooth. I mean, this is just going to be with him for the rest of his career. It's very clear he's going to be a great catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Right here, same thing. Catch and shoot, bing, bang, boom. Money. And then finally right here. And these were all catch and shoots. That's what's exciting about this, is what happens when the Jazz start focusing on him in the offense and actually start giving him more plays. What's going to happen here, and it's going to happen, and that's going to be one of the fun things as the Jazz continue to get better, is Ace Bailey's handle is not that good. I mean, it's a little probably better than I thought, but he does kind of cough that ball up here and there. You'll see him, it kind of squirt out once a game. Probably not the best word usage, that phrasing, but you'll see him lose that handle a little bit and it'll kind of pop out. And as he gets that handle, I mean, he's already taken this coaching so well. He's already improved as a 3-point shooter. And what happens when he gets more comfortable with that handle and he starts doing pull-up 3-point shots? Like, what happens when you have the center come over and set a screen for Bailey, and if they go under the screen, he just pulls up from 3 and knocks it down? I mean, it's pretty exciting. This is like offensive focal point type stuff. Really exciting stuff. You can see there's a ceiling there that's pretty sky high if that handle gets better. Because then not only that, can he initiate offense, like run a pick and roll, things like that, get into a pull-up 3 because we know he can do it and it looks good. But then the other element of that is he can drive to the basket and draw fouls. He's drawing fouls at, not a high level, probably pretty low, but it's a little bit better than people were saying. Everyone was saying, oh, he can't drive to the basket and draw fouls. Well, he shot how many free throws today? Was it 3? 3 free throws today. And he does play inside. The other thing that's exciting is, my goodness, is he a good offensive rebounder. He is so athletic and so long. And guess what? Yes, he's 6'7.5" without shoes, but basketball players, last time I checked, play with basketball shoes on. So he's at 6'8", 6'9", however thick that basketball sole is, whatever. But anyways, he gets to that basket and he has such good athleticism that he gets those rebounds, and he has pretty good hands, and he has some of those hands that the ball just seems to glue to his hands, and he gets tip-ins, he'll get little putbacks and things like that. It's really nice. It's really nice. And so I'm just excited about what we're seeing. He actually tries on the defensive end. Look at that, 2 steals. I can't believe Nurkic had 5 steals today. But anyways, 2 steals for Ace Bailey, 3 assists, 5 rebounds, 21 points on 4 for 7 from 3 and 8 for 13 from the field. That's just awesome. And if he gets better as a defender, if he gets better with that handle, pull-up threes, sky's the limit. And we already know he can pass the ball. He sees the court really well. Another advantage of being 6'8". Another advantage. When you are tall and you have passing ability and you're looking for that play, it's great. And the fact that he's getting these assists without the greatest handle is just exciting stuff. So for Jazz fans, you've got to be excited. The tank worked last year. Utah got a top 3 prospect. He's looking great. He's only going to get better, and he's going to start rising on those NBA rookie rankings. In fact, I should start doing rookie rankings on this channel. All right, Keontae George, who played a lot tonight off of Isaiah Collier. Isaiah Collier played 25 minutes. Keontae played more minutes than anyone else. It kind of tells you the importance of what he does. He is just clearly better at the point guard position than when he's playing off at the shooting guard, because what he does so many nice things from the point guard position. 7 assists tonight, 6 rebounds. He did have 3 turnovers. That looks like about what he's going to average. So about 3 turnovers a game. He had a couple bad ones at the end, but the shot was not falling, but he was forcing it a little bit tonight. We saw a little bit of the bad habits from Key from last year tonight, and some of that I think was him being at the shooting guard. And when you're at shooting guard, what you're trying to do is shoot the ball. You're trying to score, play off the point guard. Well, he was forcing it, and he's got to learn that, you know what? Even if you're at the shooting guard, you can play a little point guard, and that's okay. Now, I think there's a little bit of disadvantage when he's playing next to Collier, who is not a good three-point shooter. And so the defenses can kind of hone in on him. Makes it tough. The Keontae George, Isaiah Collier pairing, I don't really feel like it really works. Steve Areno, I criticize more than anyone in Southeast Asia. And then I believe in Steve. Perfect game. Ace shows flashes. Lauri trade value up. Another one in the L comment. Exactly. This was perfect. I was stressing it, though. Oh my gosh, was I stressing it. But anyways, I guess if you're wanting the Jazz to tank, then you should play Keontae George and Isaiah Collier together. Because Collier can't shoot the 3. It affects the spacing a little bit, and it forces Keontae into bad shots more than you would like. When you had spacing on the floor with Keontae George there, that's when we're seeing those just crazy assist numbers and better percentages. Right? And if Utah wins the lottery and puts Darren Peterson next to Keontae George, this Jazz team, I'm telling you, is a playoff team immediately. Peterson is that good, guys. I mean, the talk that people are saying, best prospect since Vince Carter at the shooting guard, just best prospect since, he's just special. He's really special. Or if the Jazz get DeBonsa and you put, I mean, maybe the Jazz will get lucky if, like, Lauri Markkanen, if, he can have some sort of hamstring or something like that, and you can keep him, and then you put DeBonsa and Bailey at the 2 and the 3, Keontae George at the 1. You just, I guess, sign Walker Kessler, and then you use that cap space for someone else this upcoming offseason. This Jazz team gets good real fast. But you got to do things right this year. You just have to. I'm sorry. You have to do things right. You have to make hay now, because guess what? At the end of the season, there's going to be more and more teams that are not going to be interested in winning games, and Utah can't screw this up at that point. So we'll see. We've talked about Isaiah Collier a little bit. Having said that this pairing's not that good, Isaiah Collier played really good off the bench. And I think, honestly, he should just sub in when Keontae George goes out, because he played really well tonight. Let's see, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Let's see here, 1 block and 1 turnover. But one thing I was really a fan of with Isaiah Collier was the defense. Like, he's at a even plus minus, which is nice to see. He just plays hard defense. And, if you've ever coached basketball, like my son's team, when I coached them, and the coaching I've done with some of the other things, like, one thing that I always feel like as a coach is that if I don't see my players getting fouls, then are you really defending? Are you really defending hard? I don't want to see zero fouls. I don't like seeing 1 personal foul. That means you're not defending hard enough. You know what I mean? 0 personal fouls. I'd like to see a couple more. Although Keontae George was probably a little worried because he got in foul trouble before. That's actually funny. I bet he was playing. I don't know. But I like seeing the fouls here. Look at this. 4 personal fouls. I like that. I like it because guess what? Guess what that means? That means you're getting up in someone's jersey, you're playing hard, you're playing physical, and that's how like this. That's the one thing. I don't want to see it this year because I want to lose some games. But next year, this Jazz team has to has to has to has to has to has to improve its physicality. It has to. You have to set the tone. Set the tone. You are going to come in and you are going to be a bully. You are going to play physically hard basketball and you are going to force those refs to calm down. You go set a hard foul and show these refs what level of physicality is going to be in this game, then guess what? You will be able to play at that level of physicality or near that the rest of the game. But if you only have one guy playing with physicality and everyone else is playing lackadaisical or just like playing 2 feet off, that one player is going to get in foul trouble because they're noticing that no one else is playing that way. The thing that Utah needs to do next year is just the physicality on defense has to be there. You got to be up in someone's jersey. You want them to smell your breath. Smell my breath, right? Chest to chest. Uncomfortable. I want you to smell my Crest toothpaste. Right? Or lack thereof. In fact, the Utah Jazz should stop brushing their teeth in the morning so it stinks in their face. So they hate it. Right? Then we brush our teeth after the game. No, probably not. No, don't take that advice. Just a thought for the finals, when the Jazz are in the finals in the next few years, after they win the lottery. Okay? But anyways, I want them to smell my breath, right? I want you to feel my chest. I want you to feel this arm. I want you to just, when I'm guarding you, you feel it and you don't get to your spots. So much of basketball is getting to your spots and shooting from the spots that you're comfortable shooting from. And if you have a defender that doesn't let you do that, and then finds ways to keep you away and get you uncomfortable and shooting it. Like, let's say I'm shooting it 3 feet farther from the basket than I normally do. Guess what? You're not going to shoot it quite as well as you normally, if you've got your little, everyone who plays basketball, and this includes NBA players, you have your spots, you like to shoot the ball. If someone keeps you from that spot, you don't get to shoot there. Sorry, I'm guarding you now. Then guess what? It's much harder for you to score. And it's much harder for you to do the things you want to do. And I loved seeing that from Collier tonight. I felt like that's what he was doing. And, like we talked about, he had more fouls because I think that physicality is not always quite there with some of these players. Let's see. The other player off the bench, I tell you what, I'm to the point with Kyle Filipowski, I get scared when he gets on the floor because he plays so well. And he stepped on the floor and I was like, he's going to make some plays. I think we're going to see at least mentioned, and he might win one, but I think there is a 6th Man of the Year award for Kyle Filipowski in the future. I think he's that good. He comes off that bench and he just makes plays and he can dominate against other bench players. And the 3-point shot was falling tonight. And if he can just be consistent with it, his passing, he's just a nice, good basketball player. And, there's some deficiencies there defensively. And maybe with his size, if he was 3 inches taller, then he might be something really special as like some playmaking center. But because of what he's at, he's just perfect to play off the bench. He kind of plays that 4-5 switch between that with whoever else is on the bench. He plays next to Kevin Love, and that kind of makes a lot of sense. They both can shoot the ball. They both pass the ball really well. It's what makes this bench unit kind of fun. And so I love what Kyle Filipowski brings. Just all around game is great. And he's a good rebounder. Look at this. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 points. You've got to love it, baby. You got to love it. Anyways, Cody Williams got 12 minutes tonight. I've noticed he's getting a little more run. I think it's the defense. We talked about this last time. He was a +1. You know what? He plays defense, and that's how we should think about Cody Williams, is a defensive player who is long and and pretty tall and moves pretty darn well. And offensively, it's just not even close just yet. But if he could just be more consistent shooting the three, it changes things. He had that nice cut to the basket, and there's just little beams of light just once in a while with him. It's, it's not there yet, but he does play defense, and it's worth playing him this year to see. Now, there's going to be other guys that play defense too and will actually hit shots, and so he's got to start hitting shots at some point, but I don't know. I still find him to be an interesting player, and I think it's worth taking time. Even if you start giving him minimums, maybe we'll be giving him minimums for years, but I love what he brings defensively. I don't know. It's pretty good. Kevin Love, if you didn't read, he had that article that interview with Kay Adams. It was pretty fun. I retweeted it if you want to go to my Twitter, but I also put it on the SLC Dunk, the feed. By the way, if you're not reading SLC Dunk every day, what are you doing? It's the best Jazz basketball site out there that I manage, and our writers do great work. But there's a feed out there, and I put it on there, so you can go look and listen to that. But he's just talking about how happy he is in Utah. Just another case of a player coming to Utah who had preconceived notions about what this place is. And then he gets here, and he's like, this is nice. And he's already, he's enjoying it. And honestly, if the Jazz signed him to a minimum next year, I'd be happy with that. Because I think his ability to shoot the ball, spread the floor, be a third center when you need depth, it's been fine. He's played well. He's at the end of his career, obviously, but he shoots the ball. He passes it really well. Look at that. 4 assists tonight. What's not to love? But anyways, very nice. And then finally, Bryce Sensabaugh hit some big threes. He took 6 threes. That's the only shots he took, but he knocked them down. He scared me. He scared me that he was going to turn the tide in this one and give the Jazz another win. Guys, if the Jazz had won this game, they'd be sitting at 10 or 11. And that is not where they want to be. Charlotte is winning games too. I mean, these teams right here are going to improve. I just have a hard time not seeing it. So maybe I shouldn't complain too much, including Memphis. I think Utah ends up at 4. But they got to be at 4. You've got to get those odds, because if you're at 4, then you've got, these odds are about the same. Then it's, every lottery ball matters, and position matters too. We learned that last year, by the way. Utah doesn't get Ace Bailey if they didn't have the worst record in the league. That's just a fact. The tanking worked. Anyone who says it doesn't is incorrect. You are wrong. That is just factually inaccurate. It worked because Utah was in the position to take advantage of a couple teams that made a mistake. I mean, I guess Charlotte's fine with Con Knipple. He's playing extremely well, but I think in the long term, Ace Bailey has a higher ceiling with what we're seeing with how big he is and athletic and what he can do. So, anyways, I think that's it tonight, guys. What a fun night. It had me stressing just like crazy. It was a fun game though, I gotta say. All right, let's see here. We've got to, there we go. All right. Let's see. So let's go to Tankathon. Utah now sits at 9. Is this right? Let's refresh one more time. Did anything change? Nope. All right. So Utah's at 9, playing the Lakers, who are playing really well. Let's just keep... Guys, right now, all of us have to have New Orleans, Sacramento, Dallas, Clippers, and Memphis. We've just got to root for those teams hard to get some wins. Memphis might trade Ja here soon and get themselves a player. We'll see. Be interesting. They should win some more games. They will. What would happen if the lottery was today? This always hurts my feelings. Let's see what happens. Memphis wins. Indiana stays. Atlanta gets the number 3 pick. Can you imagine? And Utah gives the best case scenario for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They get the number 9 pick from Utah. Absolute worst case scenario for Utah. Best case for them. I can't imagine if the Jazz do that. It would be truly front office malpractice. Does this front office and ownership understand how this works? Do they? I don't know. All right. Let's see. Let's give a shout out to our All-Stars tonight. Guys, thank you for supporting. I appreciate it so much, to all the members, and then especially the All-Stars. Let's give a shout out to Steve Areno in Southeast Asia. Steve Stevens. Let him cook. Sturdy Pots. Ezekiel Raicibe, the man from down under. Tyson Price, the price is right. See ya! Lex Salater, Jordan the GOAT, Bessroll, Ryan Edward Perry, the legend, Christian House Money to Haas, Robert Hall of Fame, I Believe in Steve, Jazz Exile, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, Flipping the Script, the OG, and Patrick Akubo, the connoisseur. Guys, if you're new here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join if you want to support. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you